The road to the 2020 Kentucky Derby continues, and this time, let's take a look back at the Arkansas Derbies, both divisions, race number 11 and 13, and the two winners, Charlatan and Nadal, winning as the favorite in both divisions. And both horses kind of drew off in the stretch. Both horses ran impressively. Let's start off with Charlatan, who opened up at the Winnows at 1-9, and came out looking good in the pros parade, got a clean break out of the gate, and then he kind of just established his position. Marty Garcia let him kind of get a couple of feet off the rail, and that's where he kind of set up camp. He was able to run fast early and run fast late. He went 22, 46 and 2, and the key for action was his third call. He went 109 and 3 and finished up the teletimer in 148 and 2. Meanwhile, in second place, most of the race was Basin. Gouverneur Morris ended up running third, and those three pretty much dominated the race. Anu Duor kind of made a little bit of a mid-race move at the half-mile pole, but he was all in going into the turn. And Basin ran second pretty much throughout, kept on trying towards the wire. Gouverneur Morris kind of shifted in and out a couple of times. He may have ran second if he would have ran a perfect clean trip, but nobody was going to touch Charlatan, who drew off by a widening 6 lengths, and really once he switched leads, he kind of just galloped away, and he continues to look ultra impressive in his 3 lifetime starts. 3 wins, 3 victories, 2 short fields in Santa Anita. Now he shifted tracks and was able to replicate that performance. Now granted, there wasn't a lot of competition here, but he still looked good doing it, and he ran faster than the older mares did on the day in his allowance race. Comes back here and runs fast against the 3-year-old boys. And right now, Charlatan is most likely going to be your Kentucky Derby favorite, no matter what Tiz the Law does. And Nadal, we'll talk about him, could be one of the co-favorites. But you're looking at an unprecedented lineup of horses here. Secondly, let's take a look at the second division. Nadal opened up at 2-5. Again, he took all the money and over 1,300 pounds, ran 23 for the quarter, 46 and 1, stopped the clock in almost identical time as Charlatan. He got a little bit of a rated off the pace for the first quarter as Wells Bayou set those fractions, and then Wells Bayou just folded up tent on the turn. They were just too much for him. Nadal tracked, pounced going into the turn, and opened up a nice lead. Again, another hard trying effort from King Guillermo. I thought he backed up that Tampa Bay effort with a nice win. Again, he, like Basin, just chased in vain. Finnick the Fierce scraped the paint, then came out for the drive. He ran a nice looking race. Finnick the Fierce still just was no match for Nadal. And Nadal now 4 for 4. And again, San Vicente then wins the Rebel in the Slop, ships back to California, continues to train well, and wins here at Oaklawn Park for the second time this meet. Again, an unprecedented lineup of horses. I don't think people realize these are good horses. These horses are very good horses. When Nadal, Charlatan, Authentic, and Bob Baffert's training them all, it's just an obscene. They're all lightly raced. They all race on the lead or forwardly place. They're all setting fast fractions. They all weigh 100 pounds more than everybody else on the track. And in a normal year, a horse like Tiz the Law would be, he'd be a top contender. And right now, if this race was in a month, I'm not so sure Tiz the Law would be one of the top 3 favorites. I think Authentic, Charlatan, and Nadal would take all the money. And Nadal and Charlatan, they've got some people that have some money behind them, because the odds on these horses when they open up, this isn't your $2 bettors. Somebody is smoking these horses for some large win prices. And these horses have continued to get pounded in all 3 rounds of the futures. Pool number 2, Nadal. Pool numbers 3 and 4, Nadal and Charlatan. And they're not even differentiating. They just keep on pounding those two. So like I say, an Authentic took a lot of money in the first 2 pools. He cooled off a little bit the last pool, and most likely he's going to be a favorite in the Santa Anita Derby on June the 6th. And he's probably the least impressive of these 3, but he hasn't even been let loose yet. So again, solid effort in the Arkansas Derby by Basin and Finnick the Fierce. I think Basin has distant limitations, but now he's got a lot of points. So if they want to just get to the Derby and run in the race, they can kind of choose their method to the madness. Gouverneur Morris, he has plenty of points. Again, I'm not sure he's going to get 10 furlongs. Again, I thought he ran a pretty solid race here. Nadal just swatted these horses away. He just put them away. And Charlatan has a little bit more of that mid-burst speed. I think Charlatan has a little bit more speed, but I think you're just splitting hairs. I mean, I really don't know who's better of these two. If these three horses are all undefeated going into the Derby, and I mean, they could just win everything. They could win the Travers, they could win the Santa Anita Derby, they could win the Jim Dandy. Boy, it's going to be tough to knock all three of these horses off. And a horse like Tiz the Law, you know, in a normal year, 4 for 5 record, pretty fast himself. We're seeing some other top contenders that have really looked strong, but these horses all run near the pace, and they're strong horses. So we'll see what shakes out here. Again, it's a long way to September, and races like the Wood Memorial, the Belmont Stakes, if they shorten that up to 1 1/8, we've seen in the past, Bob Baffert doesn't have a problem going there and taking that Big Apple money. So whichever one he wants to point to that race. The Travers, there's talk of that moving to 1 1/8. Tiz the Law wants to run in that if they want to try to preserve the Triple Crown still. So we'll see what shakes out. Tiz the Law worked out again yesterday morning, and Honor AP worked out for the Santa Anita Derby, and Authentic already being confirmed for the Santa Anita Derby on June the 6th. But you get past those top 6 contenders, and there isn't a lot really to hope for that can even really improve. So Arkansas Derby, Charlatan and Nadal. Who did you like of these two? Who do you think would be favored in the Derby if they both win their next prep? Leave a comment below, hit that subscribe button, smash that, ring that bell as you get notified of new videos all the way up to the 2020 Kentucky Derby.